All right. Awesome. All right. Welcome, everybody. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Thad Gamula. I am with the QRA. I've been running these for the last year and a half. Um, I've been with the QRA for just about 10 years now. Um, and I will be hosting the coaches and coxswains meeting for the collegiate racing this weekend and for the future weekends. Sorry, I've got random notifications popping up. Welcome, everybody. Just very beginning, we will all be at the Donahue Rowing Center tomorrow. Basic stuff. Welcome to the coaches and coxswains meeting. This is probably, I would guess, just about everybody's first race, so it's exciting to get back on the water. Our chief referee for all of these races is Mr. John Quinn. He joins us. He'll be going over the rules of racing and his vast expertise in that subject. All right. So first off the bat, to get the non-racing related stuff taken care of, if you could pay attention to our parking info, it's nothing's changed. If you've been to Donahue before, everything's the same. Team buses and trailer parking is in the state boat ramp as it always has been. Team vans, and I emphasize team vans only, are in the dirt parking lot behind the boathouse. It's just team vans, no personal vehicles. If you are a rower and you're driving your own personal car, please spread this to your teammates. You are to park on the road. It is well marked out on this map. There is no parking south of the boathouse on the road. There should be signs out there. I didn't see any at this point today, but I believe they will be placing signs. But in the event that there are no signs, please no parking south of the boat ramp. There's plenty of a breakdown lane north of the boat ramp to park in. You've got plenty of space. And the box that's marked under construction, parking may be restricted, is highly doubtful that there will be any construction. So you can almost ignore that. The other main point to pay attention to is the post office parking lot, property, driveway, everything. Do not enter. We've been doing good these last couple of years with not angering the people at the post office. Please do not park anywhere on their property. Don't warm up running down their driveway. Just stay away, please. That's the one thing we ask. We don't want to make angry neighbors. Okay, so tomorrow, this is the overview of the first 500 meters. When you launch, if you look at the map, there's a little box labeled DRC. You will be launching. You can see our docks are kind of a Y-shaped dock. You'll be launching off the north side of the dock, which is the side pointing straight up. And you have two options. You can either go straight to the start, or you can go diagonally across the lake and warm up going down south. One thing we ask you, if you are going to cross the race course and travel south, please be aware of races coming down. We don't want to cut in front of races. We don't want to hinder anybody. Make sure it's very clear. Cut directly across all the way past the race course. Be clear of the race course by about 5 strokes, and then you can turn and go south. We go south down the Worcester shore. There is a very shallow pump house area. It's in red. It's circled. You can see it quite clearly when we switch to a different view, but there's a little red brick building directly across from Donahue that is the pump house. We stay away from that. It could easily take a skeg, and we don't want that to be your first race experience on Quinsig this spring. So go all the way across, go down as far as you want, and then you can come back. Please, once again, just be mindful when you cross the race course not to interfere with races. When you turn around and you go back to the start, we are going to the start through lane 6. There will not be a stake boat. we go up and you will be spinning counterclockwise. There are 3 white buoys in that cove. Just stay in that vicinity. There's plenty of space to do warm-ups. There's start pieces. We ask you do not go too far into that cove. There's a little dotted line in the far back of that map that says do not enter. The referees who will be out there are going to be running up and down the race course. We want you to be in earshot and to come when your race is called. And we also don't want to anger anybody who's up there fishing. So stay out of the cove, counterclockwise around those 3 buoys. And that's the traffic pattern up past 290. For racing traffic, they finished it today. There are 5 fully buoyed lanes. We will be using stake boats tomorrow, so we add the extra element of those. And we're using lanes 1 through 5. So that means, once again, lane 1 is the far Worcester Shore. So if you're looking at that map, it's the left-hand side. You can see Plantation Street and North Lake Ave. Shrewsbury side is the side that the DRC is on, which you're launching from. So all the way over lane 1, all the way back lane 5. And at this point, I had a little mashup of photos. To the right is there are stake boats. This is what it will look like too, similar tomorrow. Hopefully it's this sunny and this warm as everybody's in shorts and a t-shirt. And to the left is the kind of general overview of the lake currently. Before John Quinn jumps in, when we load up on the stake boats, we are going to ask you to go down lane 0. There will be no stake boat in lane 0. So if you're looking from the right-hand side picture of the stake boats, the picture is actually being taken from the lane 0 stake boat. So you'll be coming down and you'll be going past. There's those large orange buoys slightly to the right. You're going to go past those, not too far, turn, go to your lane, and then you can adjust and back down. And please, if there's any winds tomorrow, you're going to need to adjust on how you back down. But other than that, go to the start and warm-up area through lane 6. And come to the race to line up on your stake boats through lane 0. And with that, I will pass things off to John Quinn. John?
Yeah, thanks very much, Thad. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Hey, good evening, everyone. On behalf of the referee jury for both these races, and you'll see many of the referees throughout the year, welcome. Tomorrow's jury, we have 5 licensed referee and 1 candidate with us. Among the referees that are with us tomorrow is an extremely experienced group. I estimate we have about 125 years of refereeing experience among the group. And as a slight note, 3 of the 5 of us are former Coxswains. So that brings a little bit of empathy, especially Martha, stop laughing. Brings a little bit of empathy because we've been in your seat and we want you to know what's going on. Coxswains, please, if you have any questions, either in what I've said or what Thad says, either tonight or tomorrow before we go on the water, let us know, please. We do not want you to go on the water uninformed. If you're uninformed, you're dangerous. Ask the question tonight. If it slips through, most of the referees will be on site at about 6:45, and then we don't push off until about 8 o'clock. To go to our positions. We will be assembling on the porch at Donahue Rowing Center or inside, depending upon the weather. We do not want to run a complete clinic, coaching Coxswain clinic tomorrow. But if you have any specific questions, if you've missed anything, if you're really, really green and you really just want to get one jittery question out of the way, please approach us. We'd rather ask how you ask the questions tomorrow than on the water. And again, 3 of the 5 of us that will be there tomorrow have been in your seat. So I've been there, done that, and we will be happy to assist. A couple of things to add. Thad, I got to, by the way, it's great work to get the course to the point that it is right now, this early in the season. If you haven't already imagined, lane 0 and lane 6 are not usable tomorrow. That means there will not be racing buoys on the outside of both of those lanes. If you are in a lane that has buoys on both sides, you are in a hot lane. So please, if you are warming up and going to the start, Make sure that your Shrewsbury side, your starboard side, is outside the buoys. If you're going down the Worcester shore to warm up, make sure your blades on the starboard side do not have any buoys over there, because if got buoys on both sides, you're in a racing lane. As Thad said, please, once you go under the lane 0, if you see a race lining up, and we are on 10-minute intervals, do not come into the racing zone. If you see a race lining up and you can hear the referee announcing the crews or going through any of the start commands, stop below the starting line and leave the race go, and then proceed up. Once you get into the warm-up area above the starting line, the warm-up pattern is counterclockwise. Thad, can you throw up the image again of the buoys?
That one.
See, they're slightly in a Y shape. We don't want you to go straight back and forth all the time, because it gets a little crowded up there. And if you maintain a circle, counterclockwise circle, always looking before you take a warm-up piece, we'll be okay. That means you have 5 or 6 or 7, maybe 10 strokes in one direction. Then you'll have to stop and change direction and go into another direction. We have 4 referees on the water, so hopefully we'll be able to work it that there'll be 1 referee in a warm-up position plus the starter above the starting line into the marshalling area. Again, watching what you're doing, but you've got to be very careful yourself. Once the race prior to you leaves the starting line, and again, I urge you to know what race is prior to yours. Wear a wristwatch. We expect to stay on time. We have a period of time by which we have to be off the water, so we want to be attentive to the schedule. Once the race before you clears the starting line, clears the broken equipment zone, we'll be calling you in. Come in to the starting area, if you would, on the lane 0 side, okay? That means you'll be going between the stake boat and the bridge pier in a lane that does not have any stake boat in it. Once you get below the stake boats, stop. Do not paddle down 100 meters and then turn around and proceed across the course. If you go any further than the red buoys that Thad mentioned, you're going to be just wasting time and delaying the race inappropriately. You can see, well, you can't see right there, but once you clear that bottom bridge pier, the one that's immediately to your left, to your right rather, I'm sorry, you'll see the red buoy there. It's about a length and a half for an 8-oar shell. It's about a length and a half out when you start picking up the red buoys. If you go right across at that point, you'll be about a length and a half, a length and 3/4 of an 8 away from the starting line. Back up and back into your racing lanes. Once you're into your racing lane, back up in your racing lane. Do not back up in someone else's lane. Once you square away to your stake boat, back up in your racing lane. If you are having trouble backing up, please let the referee know if you need assistance. We will not presume that you need assistance until we see that you've given a sign. If we see that you're not giving a sign and are having trouble, we'll ask if you need assistance, because we don't want to delay the race. We don't want you to have a bad experience. We want it to be safe, but we want it to be fair at the same time. Back up, please. When you get close to a stake boat, if you've never used a stake boat, do not come in hot. Come in under control. The kids in the stake boats have been told that if you come in hot, backing down, to move their hands away and not get their hands caught between the stake boat and the stern of the boat. Likewise, we'll expect you to come in under control. Once you get on the stake boat, it's your responsibility to get your point. We would want you to get your point very, very quickly. Don't get in your stake boat and start taking off gear at that point in time. You should be ready to row once you get onto the stake boats. At the once you get on your stake boat, get your point. Be very, very careful. If you don't know what sculling your boat around is, ask your coach tonight about what sculling around is, because if you get on the stake boat and just start pulling hard, you will pull yourself off the stake boat, and we're going to have to do it again. Again, we will work with you as much as we can, but if you persist and you can't get on the stake boat, we will just have to excuse you from racing because we can't delay all day. Pardon. Once we get on the stake boats and everyone is set to go, you will hear the judge at the start / aligner on your starboard side. They'll be speaking to you in your right ear. All they'll be speaking to is not you. When you hear them giving directions, they'll be giving those directions to the stake boat holders. And once that alignment is achieved, the aligner judge at the start will hold a white flag in the air. The starter will be behind you. Okay, the starter will be behind you. And as soon as she or he sees the white flag indicating they're ready to go, they'll start announcing the cruise. Now, we won't be pulling. Pulling implies that we want a response. We don't need a response. We'll be pulling the cruise very quickly from lane 1 through lane 5, or as many races that are there. So you needn't do anything more than keep your boat pointed. Once they have all the announcing done, once we have the announcing done of all the crews, they'll start. The starting commands will be attention, go, and they'll drop a red flag. Okay? They'll be announcing the crews, attention, go, and dropping a red flag. Once you see the flag move, you may go. Okay? Do not jump. If they see you jump, they'll be calling you back and starting the race again after they've awarded you a penalty. The broken equipment zone is 100 meters. If anything in the boat breaks within the first 100 meters, it's accompanied by red buoys. Stop. Don't row out of the broken equipment zone. If we see a crew that rows out of the broken equipment zone and then stops later on, you've just given away your right to fix what is broken. Stop rowing if something breaks, but only if it breaks, not if you catch a crab, not if you have jump a slide or anything like that. That's just bad rowing. If something breaks, stop rowing, put your hand in the air. We will stop the race and attend to you. Over the body of the course, it is your responsibility to steer your own course. Okay, we will not do the steering for you. If we see that you're about to interfere with another crew or strike another crew, we will direct you by holding a white flag, by calling the crew's name, putting a white flag in the air, and putting it in the direction that we want you to move. We want you to move right away. This is not a command that's given in 5 or 6 or 7 strokes in preparation. We want you to move just at the time that the command is given. Over the body of the course, each 500 meters is marked by a red buoy pad. Yes, okay. So
yes, sorry.
There'll be a red buoy over the body of the course. The first 500 meters is approximately the end of the Donahue Rowing Center docks, or there's a fence down there at the end of the Donahue Rowing Center docks. Approximately the second 500-meter interval is a pagoda, like a little round pagoda with some sailboat docks that will be on your port side at the 1,000-meter mark. The 1,500-meter mark will be a big culvert. Again, a string of red buoys. They will be on your starboard side, on the Worcester side, and then the finish line is marked by a string of buoys at the finish line, and there'll be a finish ramp of referees under a little Quonset hut type thing at the finish line. They will have an orange flag in the air, And as the first boat goes across, they'll make a sound, a noise, a beep, and the flag will drop down. Then the flag will go up for the second boat, down on the third boat, up on the fourth boat. At the end of the race, the referee will do nothing other than to make sure that everyone in the boat is okay. If anyone has a problem, if there's any, the most common issue that we run into is athletic asthma. If someone is having trouble breathing or something like that, our first reason we're out there is safety, and we will attend to that before we do anything. But if everything is quiet, everything is the race is safe, and the race is fair, the referee at that point, she or he will show a white flag to the crews that have just finished the race, and then a white flag to the finish line and announce the time. And at that point in time, you may proceed back to the starting line into the boat launch, into actually the boat launch area up the Donahue Rowing Center. And that's pretty much essential to the race. If there is one variation to the start, if there is a problem getting crews on the ready to start because of a wind or because of crews' inability to hold their point, we might have to go to a quick start. If we go to a quick start, what they'll do is they will tell the crews that are in front of them that it will be a quick start, and the quick start process is quick start, attention, white flag, go, red flag, go. So same thing. The only thing that's omitted is the announcing of the crews. We will not announce the crews in the quick start process, but we will try as much as possible to stay away from the quick start. Sometimes it's essential in the early season. Sometimes it's essential that we do it with beginning crews. I don't like them personally, but sometimes it is necessary. But if we do it, referees will be instructed to announce that they're going to do it before they do it. Trying to think what other notes I have. All right. All right. Martha, what have I missed?
Would you like them to load in high numbers first?
That's a good point, Martha. Yes.
I'm here for you.
As you come down, as we call each race to the starting line, come in the lane 0 side, but load high numbers first. So the high numbers go all the way across the stake boats. And then, for example, if it's lane 5, they'll go then lane 4, then 3, and whatever. That way, boats won't have to battle past one another to get into their own respective racing lanes. And they'll have clear water ahead of them all the time.
And also, John, would you like crews that are warming up or cooling down off the course? Should they be at a stop if there's a race on the course?
I was going to go. If you see a race coming down, if you see a race underway and coming down, and you're going one direction or another, it doesn't matter, on a race, stop until the race goes by. Especially if it's calm water, especially when you get further into the season, when you're into a championship series. It's just common courtesy to give every crew that's racing the cleanest water possible. And sometimes you think that a racing shell doesn't disrupt the water. It's just the sense that people have that a boat's going by them in a different direction that might upset them. So please stop and let the race proceed by you, regardless of what direction you're heading in. Dad, what have I missed? Anything?
That's I think you've pretty well covered it there.
Yeah, and again, Coxswains, I can't emphasize enough. We'll be there. Referees will kind of be dressed in blue coats, and 3 of us will be former Coxswain size, so we won't be too hard to find out. We'll be the people carrying megaphones around the Donahue Rowing Center docks and also the porch there. Ask if you have a question. Please ask before we go on the water. Safety first, fairness second. That's our marching orders. And other than that, we'll see you tomorrow bright and early.
Awesome. Thank you, John. One thing I neglected to mention as well is I'm actually going to go back one slide. If you do go across the course to warm up and go down the Worcester Shore, when you're coming back up towards loading in towards the start, no power past the DRC. Absolutely nothing. It's just safety. No power pieces coming up past the DRC. Okay.
Yeah, Thad mentioned one other point. The screen that's up right now, you see the little round circle on the Worcester side. Thad did mention it, but it's a pumping station, and the pumping station per se is not dangerous, but there's an old roadway or ramp that comes down from the pumping station into the water. And inevitably, over the years, we've seen boats do everything but lose skegs to taking the complete bottoms out of boats. It depends on the water level on the lake, and it depends how close you are to the shore. Just if that little pumping station, just stay well out away from the shoreline at that point. Your coach will love you for it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and we'll just play this quickly just to get a quick overview of the course. This would be the first 500 going past the DRC. Up to your left here is the 1,000. John was talking about the pagoda. You get to there's no real discernible from this view of the 1,500 meter mark, but it's just about, oh, it's right there. We have the buoys in. And then you'll be finishing in front of this big blue bridge. Those are the buoy lines. It's going to be similar like that tomorrow. The one thing that was asked of us is don't anticipate that those orange buoys at the end are the exact finish. Go until you hear the beep passing through. The guys did everybody did a fantastic job of putting the course in. I take zero credit for that. But there's still a couple little things that need to be done to make everything perfect. And then just on return traffic, after the finish and race has been made official, a spin towards the Shrewsbury shore, and make sure you are well off the course before heading back north to the DRC. Same deal. Go ahead.
Yeah. Thad, one thing also, Coxswains, there are a total of 2 races, 4 heats altogether. So if you're in a race with a heat, please know how many boats from that heat go forward into the final. Okay, it's not the same as at least as it was on the entry so far. It's not the same in both heats. I believe in one heat, 1 boat drops, in the other heat, 2 boats drop. Is that still correct, Thad?
I believe the updated QRA schedule we have, that is correct still.
Okay, so be attentive as to what heat you're in and what is the game and what the cutoff point is at the end. If you have an issue at the end of a race and you have any questions at all, ask the referee again, but ask before the white flag goes up. If you have a concern, any concern about the way the race was run or anything like that, ask at that point. Once you leave the starting line, though, you've accepted the start of the race. Once you leave the starting line, you've accepted the start of the race.
Right. Traveling back up after the race, once again, stay well off the course, stop for any oncoming races, and then you're just going to land at the south end of the DRC docks. As a rule, we have to say, please, no public urination. Porta potties are provided at the bottom of the boat ramp. Clubhouse bathrooms are for local schools only. Emphasize that. And that is our presentation for the evening. If you have any questions, once again, I have to repeat, John, if you have any concerns or questions or don't fully understand anything and you don't want to ask it in this venue, go up to a referee tomorrow and ask them when you get there. They're readily available.
Readily available.
Give it a second. If nobody uses the raise hand feature or nobody puts any chat messages in, then we will close it out. Once again, this recording, once it's done processing, it will be on the YouTube channel. Just once again, search Quinsigamond Rowing Association. You can find it. It's easy. We have 2 videos up right now, but that list will grow. All right. I see no hands, no nothing, no chat. I think that's it. John, thank you very much. Thank you everybody for coming tonight, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Thanks, Thad.
Hey,
Thank you.
thank you. Have a good one.
Bye.